Dave, at the end of this month, unless Congress acts, the $600 per week supplemental unemployment insurance payment will be cut off. And if you live in Missouri, the average payment will go from 800 and some odd bucks down to 200 and some odd bucks. And I'm very afraid that if this is allowed to come to pass, it will be a great blow both to our regional and national economy. What do you think?
Well, yeah, there are two aspects of this. I mean, one is just the sort of the human cost. If you've got a lot of people who are out of work through no fault of their own, and because their industry was shut down by the coronavirus, and the government actually asked a lot of businesses to shut down temporarily. The businesses like restaurants, hotels, airlines haven't certainly not back to full capacity yet, even if they have reopened. So there's a huge human cost to them, and then there's the cost to the macro economy. Just taking all of that purchasing power out of the economy. One economist told me it would create another severe recession on top of the recession we're already in. It would just be.
That's right. If the moms can't go out and buy shoes for their kids, the clerks at the shoe store get laid off, and they can't get their cars fixed, so the mechanics get laid off, and you get into this downward spiral. The Republican argument here, the Republicans, Mitch McConnell is opposed to extending these unemployment benefits, is that we have a lot of people who are actually making more unemployed than they were employed. And the argument is that, your unemployment benefit is not supposed to be what you were making before. It's supposed to be less to give you an incentive to go out there and get a job. And you've destroyed the incentive to work. That's the argument against it.
There is some truth to that argument, just because of the way this was structured as a flat 600 on top of the regular state unemployment benefits. In Missouri, this means you can make up to $920 a week on unemployment. That's a person making $15 an hour working 40 hours a week would only make $600 a week. So I have talked to employers who are concerned that their workers don't want to come back, and they're kind of reluctant to make them come back when it's a sacrifice for them. So there is some validity to that argument. The problem is, the Republicans' proposal is to create a return to work bonus and give that money, instead of giving it to the people who are on unemployment, give it to the people who have found, gotten off unemployment and found a job. That would solve the incentive problem, but it would do nothing for the people who are, sort of involuntarily out of work. They'd be thrown back on those, those regular unemployment benefits, $320 a week in Missouri. Probably not enough to buy new shoes and the other things you mentioned.
And the other argument against it is that we're borrowing all this money. I mean, we're not taxing people for it. We're just adding to the national debt. We've already added trillions. Do we want to add hundreds of billions more? That's part of the argument against it.
Well, yeah, I hear that, but I would really discount that. I mean, we're in a sort of an unprecedented crisis, and interest rates are at record lows. I mean, close to the government's borrowing costs are, close to zero. There's no signs of inflation. We're really not in danger of hitting Uncle Sam's credit limit, as we've discussed before.
And it's not like a lot of unemployed people are just sitting back and enjoying themselves. There are no jobs to be had. In May, the unemployment rate in St. Louis was 11%. Nationally, it was 13%. Now, as lockdowns have decreased, some of those people have gone back to work, but we're still nationally losing 1.4 million jobs per week, new layoffs. I mean, it's not like they could find a job if they wanted one.
No, that's very true. We're still, still at a very high level of unemployment, higher than we felt during the Great Recession, in 2008, 2009. I think the solution is to have put in some kind of a phase out for these benefits. If the unemployment rate drops below 10%, then maybe you cut the $600 down to $400 or something. And if it drops further, cut it again, and maybe phase it out entirely at some point with a goal of making this the temporary program it was envisioned to be, but without having that sort of financial cliff for the economy at the end of July.
In other words, you're talking about a rational compromise.
Right. And
have we seen any sign of a rational compromise in Congress?
I don't right now. The two sides seem pretty far apart on this issue, but they've managed to come to agreement quickly on other things, on the CARES Act, on the extension of the Paycheck Protection Program. There has been a spirit of bipartisanship in attacking at least the financial side of this crisis. So let's hope they come to their senses and do that again.
They may get an incentive to that by the fact that the virus seems to be growing again.
Yeah.
In the metro area, we were on a downward slope. We seem to have leveled out and maybe increasing. Missouri is on an upward slope, largely because of some problems in the southwestern part of the state. But we may be going back into lockdown in some areas, which of course makes the economic situation worse.
Yes, it would. I think it would be a bad time to jump off that cliff, as it were.
Yeah. So for us, we should continue to wear our masks, stay away from crowds, and just hope that Congress gets its act together.